Hi yogis, I'm Jess and welcome to our restorative yoga sequence. These poses are my top favorite poses to relax with. You're going to need a few things to get started. A blanket folded in half, so this is one of the yoga blankets folded in half. A couple of blocks of the same size, and then a large bolster, or if you don't have a bolster, a large fluffy pillow or two pillows will work just fine. So we're going to begin by setting up our props. Take your blanket and then the long ways, go ahead and roll it pretty tightly, making sure that the blanket's nice and smooth and there's no wrinkles. And then just set that to the side. And then you'll take your two blocks and stack them, one on, let's say, a medium level, and then the second one on a low level. If you prefer a little bit more height, then you'll go medium and then high. So I'm going to go back to kind of an in-between. And then let's just take the bolster and lean it up against the blocks with the edge of the bolster coming all the way to the mat. Then bring your bottom all the way up against the base of the bolster, not on top of it, just up against it. And then you'll lay yourself back. Before you do get completely comfortable, bring your feet together and let your knees open wide. And you'll take that blanket that you just rolled and place it on top of your ankles, and then tuck the ends of the blanket underneath your thighs, so the blanket supports your legs. If you need a little more support, feel free to add an extra blanket, an extra pillow, or an extra block. Take your hands by your sides, let the palms turn to face up, and then let your eyes soften and close. Let's take just a couple rounds of breath to arrive into this space, into this moment. Breathe in through the nose and out through your mouth. 2 more rounds of breath like that. One more big breath in. Let it out. Let your lips gently seal. Let the breath flow effortlessly in and out through your nose. Now, and if an Ujjayi breath is comfortable for you, go ahead and find a Ujjayi breath by narrowing the base of your throat, letting the tongue rest on the roof of the mouth. But instead of it being loud and vigorous enough to create heat in the body, let it be just loud enough to distract you from your thoughts. Try to keep the breath soft enough to allow the face, the neck, and the shoulders to relax. With each breath, feel the body relaxing. Feel it get heavy. Let the effort disappear. If at some point your mind starts to wander, just come back to that gentle hum of the breath. Take another 5 rounds of breath. After your 5th round of breath, keep the eyes still closed as you gently wiggle the feet apart and bring your knees together. Let the feet widen to about mat width as the knees come to touch gently. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling and then cross one arm over the other like you're giving yourself a big hug. Inhale, reach the arms back upwards and then switch the cross of the arms, again giving yourself a little hug. Inhale, the arms reach upwards, and then exhale, plant the arms by your sides. Use the hands into your mat to press yourself to a seat. And then we're going to keep this setup very similar as we turn ourselves around to face your bolster setup. Take your legs on either side. And then you're going to take this blanket roll that you have and slip it underneath your knees. So if you end up with not enough space, then you can take the bolster setup and just scoot it closer to you so that the edge of the bolster is in front of the blanket setup. You'll just have to move your blocks a little bit. So the blanket is here to support the knees so they don't hyperextend and they can completely relax. Take an inhale as you sit up nice and straight, and then keep as much length in your spine as you then fold forward over the bolster. And then let your hands rest down, or you can wrap your arms around the front, or even tuck your hands into the little strap of your bolster if you're using a bolster. Let your head turn over to one side. Let your eyes soften and close. And then again, tune back into that soft Ujjayi breath. The breath is soft and soothing, minimal effort, allowing your body to completely relax into this shape. We'll take another 3 rounds of breath with the head facing this direction. Without letting too much stimulation in, just pick up the head and turn it to the other side. Take another 3 rounds of breath, slow and steady. Return your head back to center. Use your hands to help press your body upright. Let's bend the knees and sweep your legs around to the side. Take the blanket roll out from underneath your bolster if you have it there. And then you can either keep yourself on an incline here, or you can remove both blocks. Put that over here. Scoot your right hip all the way up against the bolster, then take this blanket roll and stick it in between your shins. Then turn your whole torso to face the bolster and then lay yourself all the way down. Hands can rest by your sides, and then either for more intensity, you'll look away from your legs. For less intensity, you'll look towards your legs. Let your eyes soften and close. And if there's any tension in your neck, in your shoulders, or in your face, gently soften. Stay present with your soothing, full breaths. If your head is turned away from your legs, go ahead and turn your head to face your legs, releasing the intensity out. Take 3 more rounds of breath. Slowly walk your hands in. Press your torso upright. Keep your legs the same, and then just take your outside hand towards your feet and then your inside hand upward for a big side bend. You can gaze upwards underneath your arms or gaze downward towards your feet. And then gently release. We're going to switch sides, so you'll just pick up your legs and shift them over to the other side, and you'll bring the blanket in between your legs. I'm going to flip around so that we can still see each other. So once you have your hip all the way up against the bolster, again, you'll turn your torso to face the bolster and then lay yourself down. The hands can rest on either sides of the bolster. For more intensity, the head turns away from the legs. For less intensity, you turn towards the legs. Soften and close your eyes. Settle into your soothing breath. As thoughts come to you, just return the focus back to follow the breath in and follow the breath out. If your head is turned away from your legs, go ahead and turn your head to face your legs. And we'll stay here for another 5 rounds of breath. Take your time to walk your hands in and use them to press yourself upwards. Take your outside hand towards your feet, your inside hand up towards the sky, and then a big side bend over, either gazing down at your feet or upwards towards the ceiling. Release the arms all the way back down. Place your blanket off to the side. And then take your bolster and turn it horizontally. And then bring your legs around. So you're going to place the legs over the bolster and scooch it pretty close to your bottom. And then from here, just pick your hips up and place them on top of the bolster. So So you want to make sure that you're far enough forward so that your tailbone is just at the edge of the bolster. And then lay yourself down one step at a time. So you end up in a supported bridge pose with the bolster set up. You can walk your feet in so that they're pretty close to right underneath your knees, shoulders, and just snuggle them underneath your body. Let your eyes soften and close and let your arms rest by your sides. Follow the breath in and follow the breath out. If you're really happy in this shape, feel free to stay right here. I enjoy asana in this shape. We'll bring the feet together and let your knees open wide, keeping your hips where they are on the bolster setup. If this ends up being too intense, you can take a block and slip it underneath your feet, and that'll just elevate the feet and take a little bit of intensity out of the hips. Take the arms and rest them back down. And we'll stay here for another 5 rounds of breath. Slowly bring the knees back together if they've opened, and then we'll separate your feet wide, bringing the knees together to touch. 2 rounds of breath here. Separate your knees. Walk the feet in pretty close so that you can lift your hips. Push the bolster out from underneath your hips and then slip it onto its edge underneath your knees. Get the upper body nice and comfortable, and if you don't like your feet dangling, you can again slip some blocks or a couple more pillows underneath your feet. Let your arms rest by your sides. Soften and close the eyes. And feel everything melt into your mat. Now this is our final pose. Please stay here as long as you can. Try and stay in your resting pose for 3 to 5 minutes if possible. When you're ready to awaken, do so slowly, muscle at a time, one breath at a time, gently coming back to your space. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.